All right, everybody, welcome to our latest virtual bourbon event. This is a twist because it's not bourbon tonight. We are going to be drinking gin as we seek out the bourbon lovers gin. A couple things about this. Number one, none of these are barrel finished or anything like that because there are a lot of different gins that do that. And we decided to go against that because we thought that would be too easy. If there's a competition where there's several, barrel aged ones, people who are bourbon drinkers will probably gravitate towards these. So these are just regular gins, but they were identified by bourbon drinkers as being some of their favorite gins. So every single one of these was recommended by a bourbon drinker that says, I like this one. So the idea is we're going to try to find the best. Now, there's a couple different ways you could look at this when we go to the voting part, because you're going to be ranking these and then you're going to vote which is your favorite down to your least favorite. There's something that we need to say about that, in that as you're making the decision, as you're doing your ranking, we're trying to find the best bourbon lovers gin. You're not ranking for anybody else. You're not thinking, well, I don't really like this one, but I think most bourbon drinkers would like it. No, just rank them in the order that you think is your favorite down to your least favorite. So your personal picks. And because you're the bourbon drinkers, you're the audience here that we're going to be, that we're getting involved in this, and you guys are going to be voting. And at the end of this, we will have a ranking from 1 to 6, and we'll see what the favorite is. And we're going to declare that the true bourbon drinkers gin. We'll do a big promotion of that tomorrow and things like that. And then people will yell at me on Facebook, why are you think you're an expert or anything like that, and try to goad me into fights. But I won't get into that. I just post it and go. And then I post and then I leave and let them just fight amongst themselves, ripping on me. Joining me on this is Jen Kubashevsky, who is a gin expert. So Jen is we're really lucky to have her because she's based in St. Louis like me, and I see her at an event. She's the reverse of most people on here. Most people on here are bourbon drinkers, a little bit curious about gin, maybe want to try something different, expand their horizons. Jen's the opposite of that. I see her monthly at an event at Still 630 local here in St. Louis. She's a gin drinker who says, maybe I want to explore whiskey a little bit. Right, Jen?
That is exactly right. This is the opposite for me. I love it.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about gin. I mean, we're gonna start at the basics here, and assume that the group, we know about bourbon and whiskey and rules and stuff like that. Are there any similar rules for gin? Things that are standards that are set, and if so, what are they?
Yeah. So really, the number one rule for gin is it has to be made with juniper. So you're taking a neutral base spirit and you're adding juniper to it. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can do that through the distillation process. You can do that through like infusing, like using like tea sort of vibes to that. Whatever it takes, it has to have juniper. And with that, you can go and explore and use other things, different botanicals, citruses, whatever, to make it something else you like. But the number one rule is, of course, juniper.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that sometimes it is barrel aged, it doesn't change the status at all. It's still legally a gin and all that. That doesn't change anything, correct?
Yeah, the real big argument that's happening right now, at least here in the US, is calling it barrel aged is a no-no. It's barrel rested. Just okay. Because of the aging process, how long it's in there. There's no rules around that really. Mm-hmm. So it could be in there for a day. It could be in there for 6 months.
Barrel rested, and it may say that. I can't say I paid any attention. I'm using bourbon terms there as I'm talking barrel aged.
Oh yeah, no, I say it all the time, barrel aged, because again, it is a very common term, but I got corrected.
Right. How long have you been into gin, and why did you get into it?
Oh, it's probably been a good 5 years. So I live right by Cafe Natasha's and the Gin Room. If anybody who's in St. Louis here, it is one of the 3 largest gin bars in the United States, and the owner is Natasha, and she was just inducted into the Gin Hall of Fame. And so they're friends of mine and neighbors. That's my neighborhood bar, is this 300, 500 collection gin bar just down the street. And I used to crash industry events just because it was free drinks and free snacks. That's everything I'm into. And then I would hide, hoping nobody would call on me because I knew no answers. I was not in the industry. Mm-hmm. And then from that one drunken event, I started the Gin Club, which was for average people who wanted to learn in a very safe, non-judgmental environment how gin is and what to drink with it and what to make. And so we started a club. We range from 10 to 20 people at our meetings or our events, and we get to educate. We get to learn. We have distillers in front of us from all over the world. We get brands that send us things. We fill out questionnaires. We go to seminars. It's just a really cool way to learn.
Yeah, very cool. So Edith submitted a question there just via the chat. What are the rules for London Dry? Is that a specific
Oh,
type of gin? What's the difference with that?
not necessarily. There isn't,
Okay.
I mean, London Dry Gin obviously has to have the classic juniper in there. But anything can be London Dry Gin. In the US, it can be London Dry Gin. But people like to play around and go outside of the normal and make it a little like sassy and put different names to it. So we have American style gin. We have botanical gins. That's what they say on there. But yeah, there's really not a set rule. Like it doesn't have to be made in London or
Okay.
England to be considered that.
Oh, really? So you could make that here in Missouri?
Yeah,
You
it's
could
because
make
it's
a London
London
Dry.
style. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What about? I see a couple other terms that I don't know what. I mean, Navy strength. What is? Is there a standard
Navy
for Navy strength?
Yeah. So Navy strength is, and Dave from Still 630 could give us the real awesome, funny, cheesy speech to this. But it is a higher proof. It has to be anything over 120 or around 120 proof is
Okay.
what this is at. And with Still 630, they have an American Navy strength that's 140 because he's a little extra about that. And so what that is, it's a higher proof in there, meaning they are not distilling it down. They're not adding that water to dilute it as much. It has to be that stronger. And why that was is because back in the British Navy days, way back in the day, is if it could spark a fire with it in the ammunition with the gunpowder because it was so strong.
Okay. Okay. And is there something Tom style or Tom?
Oh,
something?
Tom's, yeah, old Tom style.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
super familiar with that because it's not super duper common here. There are some local, not local, I mean, local as in the US, doing the old Tom style of that. And it is really just kind of an additive that they put in there to give
Okay.
it a different flavor. And it also usually changes the color a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I had seen that before and I didn't know what
Yep.
it mean. And yeah.
Ransom's one of the best ones too. He just showed a
Okay.
bottle of Ransom.
Okay. So, all right, well, we're going to start our tasting, but before we get to that, I did want to mention Jason just flashed that bottle up there. We got a bonus one here, and this one kind of came in late. I didn't get the official label on there that Justine creates or anything, but this is not a gin. So it'll be after we do all of our gin tastings and all of that and our scoring and everything. And then we've got a bonus from Jason. He'll tell us exactly what it is and why he included it and all that. So we'll get to that at the end, but we won't forget that. And if I do forget it, someone holler out and remind me because I tend to be scatterbrained on things. All right. Let's pour A here. And how we do these things is we go through, we'll do it just like we do our whiskey tastings, pour them. And we'll talk a little bit about the nose and the taste and things like that as a group. And just share that. You can share that by opening up your mic and just saying it, or you can share it in the chat too, if you prefer. Either one.
Leave some for Tracy.
So on the nose.
It's gonna be nice.
Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
lemon lime.
Ginger ale, sure. Citrusy kind of.
Yeah.
Getting some hospital cleaner.
Yeah. It's sort of medicinal smell.
Yeah.
Okay.
like
Yeah,
dill.
yeah,
There's like a strong, I don't know if I'm getting dill or like a pickle juice there, something like that,
Or a mouthwash or something like that,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it smells like Verner's.
Verner's. Okay. So that's soda up or pop, I guess, as they would say up in Michigan.
Sure, cool lemon.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the medicinal. It's trying to be lemon citrus, but I think it's hitting a little bit more medicinal.
Medicinal.
More astringent.
It's lemon pledge light, maybe. All right, let's give it a try and see what we there.
That's it. That's pretty spot on.
It's unbelievably full of citrus.
Yeah.
It is
Mhm.
not my typical gin. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot of citrus there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a lemon peel. A lot of lemon peel in here.
To me, tastes like a.
There's a little burnt aftertaste.
A
Mhm.
little astringent. There's a little bit of a soapy to me.
A little bitter on the finish, like a lemon peel.
It's like a lemon peel. Yeah.
If you ever made like ginger and lemon water, that's kind of what it tastes like.
Ginger and lemon water. Yeah.
Had
Breakfast.
a much softer mouthfeel than I would have expected from the smell.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mr.
you're right.
Bill, I'll ask Jen here real quick. Mr. Bill asked if gins need to breathe. We talk about that in whiskey all the time. Do they talk about that in the gin world too, Jen?
Doesn't need to breathe, but they do talk, much like when I'm learning about tasting whiskeys, especially Scotch, and that, you breathe in to let that hit you first. So it's not just pure burny when you're taking that sip, because when I first started doing gin tastings, everything was burny to me. That was my number one descriptive, was it's burny. So yeah, they are pretty hot, but you don't need to let it sit open and breathe. No.
Okay. Okay. What else on the taste on this one?
I have to agree. It does have like a ginger linger on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't taste any burn on this at all, to tell you the truth. But I mean, it's a really good gin.
Yeah. It feels like you could get some interesting cocktails made with this for sure. So it's got that, unique taste. So I like it.
I also think it's kind of sweet. So it'd probably be good with just a club soda and like a lime. Just keep it simple because there's a ton of flavor going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was about to say the same thing. Just a little bit of soda and a twist of lime.
Yeah.
I think we should jump it up to an Aviator. I think it'd make a really good Aviator. Or Aviation. Aviation.
Yep.
Aviator.
Aviator. And again, what's that term, Jen? Aviator, is that another one like
An
baby strength?
Aviation is a very classic old-timey prohibition cocktail
Okay.
with cherry maraschino liqueur and creme de violet, which is bright purple, and then lemon and gin, and that's it. And it comes out the prettiest lavender color, and it tastes like a sweet tart. It's really good.
Okay.
Those bars mess it up.
Yes, they do. but the citrus taste, I think, would really accent it.
Yeah. Casey, what are you thinking on this one? Again, bourbon guy. What are your thoughts as we try this first one?
Yeah, I actually was into gin before I was into bourbon, so this is pretty pleasant. I think this is, got a lot of potential. I like the citrus notes. I don't think I've had a gin that's had this much citrus in it. So I think it's pretty versatile, and I think it gets better as I taste it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fever Tree. You can get them in the grocery stores or Target even. Okay. All right. Jen, do you have a tonic water preference with these?
Yeah, it's that
Last
Fever
question.
Tree. So
The Fever Tree. Oh, sorry.
Yep. I just like very classic, clean taste, but they also have an elderflower one that's super good, and their grapefruit's really good. If you have kind of maybe a boring, if we want to say, gin, one that's just very classic, those tonics are really good.
Okay.
The cucumber tonic is also super refreshing, very light on the flavor, low on the sugar, but mixes perfectly usually with most gins.
Yep.
Right.
And they do light variations in some of theirs too. So it does really cut down on that sugar or that kind of salty aftertaste you might get with some classic tonics. So that part's nice too.
Okay. A couple more people. Again, I like to get people involved, and we won't go through everybody on all these, but it's nice to jump in. Nancy W., what are your thoughts as you taste this first offering here?
Yeah, I was saying it was a little bit medicinal to me, and I'm sort of new to the gin world, so I guess I'm a novice when it comes to a little bit of burning, as you drink it. So, but I'm all about learning, and I'm a bourbon fan, so I'm from Kentucky, so I'm trying to expand my horizons with some good gin.
Great. And one more. Let's go up to Michael Dodd before we go on to our next one.
I really like this up front. I mean, very citrusy. It's really interesting. Got a great nose. I can definitely see making different cocktails with it. It's a bit astringent, though strangely, I think the longer it sits, the less I like the finish. Up front, I like it, but the finish I don't like quite as much.
Okay. So we're going to move on. You do want to save some. So, it's because we've got a lot of people on us for the first time. We come back and go through a second time and go through it because it's hard to establish a list by, the fourth one when you go back and compare it to 1, 2, and 3. So we'll go back a second time, and then we'll give you a little bit of time where you can go on your own and do side-by-side comparisons to refine your 1 through 6 list. So let's move on to B. We'll just follow the alphabet, of course. So B is going to be the next one that we're going to be sampling. Right.
Again.
What do we think of this one on the nose? Very different.
Not a pine.
Pine. Yeah.
Pine.
Some type of tree.
It's some black pepper underneath that juniper note.
I agree.
What I think of when I think of gin.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this smells like gin, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
getting like a meaty vibe. Like it's very savory, something very savory here.
Yeah, kind of like a steak off the grill type of thing.
And I'm getting smoke.
Yeah,
Smoke.
me
Yeah.
too. I'm getting smoke too.
Smoke. Okay. All right.
Rosemary.
Rosemary. Okay.
What is that after smell? Is it smoke or for y'all? What is that
I don't know.
when you breathe it in and right after that? What is it?
Peppercorns. I don't know.
And with those juniper berries.
This is what I think of when I think of
Let's give it a taste and see what we think. All right, that's interesting. Kind of smoked Christmas tree.
Yeah, a lot more.
Almost a licorice or something to me.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Very peppery at the end.
Yeah, the lemon pepper kind of finish.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Paul, how about you, man? We haven't heard from you yet.
Great mouthfeel. That's the first thing that jumped out to me. Oily. Don't really like this one as much as the first one. The pine note is something I shy away from, but it does have a good like lemon, creamy lemon finish. I think so. Not bad.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mark V.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot better. This is what I think of when I think of gin. It was a bit strong, just the scent. I could smell it as soon as I opened up the bottle. And it's what I think of when I think of gin.
Mm-hmm.
First sip was okay, but the second sip was a little bit better. But it's a little bit much for me as compared to the first one. Not a big gin drinker.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason, what are you thinking here? Yeah, you're a gin drinker. What are your thoughts?
This one, it reminds me of, I mean, classics like, Tanqueray. It's
Mhm.
what I think of when I think of gin. The classic juniper, the pine, the herbs, very refreshing, but also very, you're going to have opinions about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Tay, what's your opinion on this one?
I feel like my mouth is a little bit confused by it. I think I'm in line with everybody else. I enjoyed the first one a little more. This one hits more like a London dry for me, but I'm trying to figure out a different way to say this. I'm definitely getting the hints of lemon pepper, but it almost has like a rubber kind of quality or taste. Something a little, I don't know, latexy or something. It's just something in the background that's hitting kind of like rubber.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you, a spicy tingling sensation across the palate too, which, almost think like when I'm drinking whiskey, it's like it has to be a very high rye whiskey to get you like this one hits you. So that's interesting. Jen, what do you think's causing that sensation?
I'm assuming the botanicals that are in here, like
Mhm.
something spiced. The peppercorn, obviously, I think we can all taste that,
Mhm.
which adds heat. But then there's like, what if they use a Szechuan peppercorn? What if they, are heavier on the coriander? That kind of gets that that lingering after punch.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a couple more, like I said, before we move on to our next one. Sean, I want to check in with you.
So I'm really tempted to run to the other room and get several bottles because I'm pretty sure I know which one this is, but
Well, don't give it away yet. Yeah.
But I agree with most everybody that I liked A more,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very curious to find out what that is.
Yeah, it's fun. One last one, Justine, we'll ask you. I haven't checked in yet with you. So what are your thoughts on B here?
I'm kind of on the same as everybody else. It's very pine forward on the nose, but yeah, it has like the lemon pepper aftertaste. Not bad.
Okay.
I definitely like the first one better.
Okay. All right. Well,
Well,
let's.
I'm actually probably the only one that actually likes this one better than the first one.
Okay.
Well, this one was familiar. The other one was a new experience.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, for sure. All right, C will be the next one we're trying. For those of you scoring at home. All right, C.
You barely smelled it all.
This one's very light on the nose.
A little bit orange,
Little orange, okay.
but like the orange, like the inside of the orange peel.
Like the past the zest into the stuff where it gets a little bitter.
Yeah, like the white part.
The white part, yeah, okay.
Orange gumdrops.
Okay. McNeil, you getting anything on this on the nose?
It's weird, but I think it smells clean. Like if you
Clean.
just cleaned your house for the day and lit your candles and sit down, I think it smells clean.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's
Nancy, did you say spice gumdrops? Because I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I say gumdrops.
Spicy gumdrops, okay.
How about beef jerky?
Beef jerky. That's a possibility.
It's sort of pleasant to the nose to smell it. It's very pleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if that carries through on the taste. Let's see what we got here, taste wise.
It smells. It is.
That grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
a
I think
sipper
I
there.
like that gumdrop now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Taste is
sweet.
definitely stronger than the nose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. At the very end, it's like licorice.
Mhm.
Yeah, the licorice is kicking in now.
Rick, what do you think on the taste on this one?
That's a good question.
It really coats the mouth. I mean,
Mhm.
it really,
It's got a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
It's got a good finish.
It's got a delayed finish too. It's kind of it's like you think it's all done and then it starts coming back and heating up a little bit. It's nice, pleasant.
Yes,
Nancy N. Again, not on screen. I don't know. I hope that you can hear us. Your thoughts? Nothing. Okay.
And I can't place the herbs.
Mm-hmm.
Name them, but I mean it's very much more herbally, but it is very light. It's very pleasant, nice mouthfeel, a little bit oily. But like you say, I mean that it just kind of I like the finish. It just kind of hangs around and kind of comes back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Bear. What are your thoughts on this one, man?
I actually like the taste much better than the bouquet.
Mhm.
I don't care for the nose as much on this one, but I really like the taste of it better than the second one. But the first one I still like the best just because of the citrus.
Yeah. Yeah. This one is layered in taste, which you wouldn't suspect. The nose was so light. I wasn't expecting a lot of different flavor coming out of the taste, but there actually is. So that's good.
This one tastes familiar to me, but I can't place it.
Mm-hmm. Tim, what are your thoughts on this one? C.
I'm struggling with all these, man. A was definitely, this one here is almost like B's little brother. It has some of the similar, I think, structure and guts, the botanicals, but toned down dramatically than the other one. I still get a little bit of the pine. I still get a little bit of that, but I thought the gumdrops, I hate gumdrops, and it smells exactly like it. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. And it came through on the taste.
How do you hate gumdrops?
That's not a fan. Not a fan. But no, this one would be this one's, I think it's definitely toned down. I think the same probably layered profile as B, but toned down tremendously. It's not a traditional gin. I didn't flash back to that moment that Gin and I didn't get along like I did with B.
Well, okay. So you've had a history with gin, and so I was glad it's bold that you came back. So it's good. So
Everyone's got that one story when it comes to gin. One time.
At
They
one
drink
time.
from it for a real long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Whitlatch, I want to check in with you. I don't think we've officially checked in with you yet before we move on to our next one.
This is a tough one. I didn't know what to expect from the nose, but I'm getting citrus peel, lemon peel in there. And then behind that is wonderful herbal flavors that I simply can't identify. It's a real mystery. It's very good, but it's puzzling.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of, like Bob said, there are a lot of little flavors to this one that you got to get quick, because then it goes on, because there's this wave of flavor that it's changing where it's on to something else. So
Did gin and Jägermeister have a baby?
I think it tastes like lemon fresca.
Lemon fresca.
This one definitely unpacks like a whiskey, though. The way it pulls forward for the sweetness, you can tell there's the sweet herbs or something in there to bring it very sweet. It definitely pulls forward on a finish. This one finishes just like a whiskey would.
Yeah.
Out of all so far.
Wayne, any other insight there? Any other thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of the anise licorice flavor is not my favorite either. And kind of my experience with gin is the people who don't love juniper, gin tries to go another direction with it, and so they went the licorice direction. You know, not one I would have picked myself.
Okay. All right. Let's move on now to D. Right. What do we have here?
He smells like water.
Water. I'm just trying to keep you guys honest here.
That's what it is.
Yeah. This is science. This is science. You have to put in a placebo. So yeah.
That explains the bonus.
Or we all have COVID. One or the other.
Or we just caught it apparently in between.
I went to red vines on this one. That
Red
red vine
vines,
licorice, not your Twizzlers, but the red vine with that, it's that off red licorice.
Yeah.
nose
I'm
on it.
reading that as bubble gum.
Bubble gum. Okay. Well, here we go. Well, our tasting notes always, for some reason, as a group, collectively, this group gravitates towards bubble gum, and we'll even get into some brands if we really get into the tasting. So,
I got that red cherry licorice.
yeah, I agree on that licorice one though, Tim. Maybe it's because you said it, but
See,
yeah, it's kind of when I can't get past it now.
It's the red vines. It's not Twizzler. It's that red vine. It's the red vines brand. The ones that taste like wax.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the
It's
cherry,
not a
but I'm
cherry
getting more
flavor,
like
it's like red flavor.
Yeah, number 7, not number 6, right?
You know, like I kind of get it. Like I got the bubble gum, but not real bubble gum, but like the stuff the dentist gives you. Like
Fluoride.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of like how Jack doesn't smell like actual bananas, but like banana nerds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fake bananas,
Yeah.
bubble gum.
All right, let's try D. Let's see what we got on the taste here.
Are we sure it's not water?
Yeah.
It's super, super, super light.
It is very light.
How could you even make a cocktail out of this?
Yeah.
It would disappear.
It would disappear.
I'm not getting much taste out of it at all.
It's almost like a jasmine liqueur. It's like something that you really have to fight to bring the flavor out of.
Mm-hmm.
Like those, what are those LaCroix waters?
I was gonna say, like, did you decarbonate like a White Claw?
Yeah.
And bottle?
Yes, yes. I've been doing a lot of extensive research in the White Claw area, of course. So this is what I've come up with.
Say that it's flavored.
Yeah, I saw that thing where White Claw does have that wasn't just like an internet hoax. They are doing a higher
That was
proof
real.
version called Surge or something like that. This is exactly what the world needs. So I'm-
That brings back like 4 Loco nightmares from college. I don't.
it's so light that if you add anything to it, it's going to kill it, except for maybe like lemon or lime zest. Maybe orange would be about it.
The more
Yeah.
you sip it, the more flavor comes out.
Okay. Keep going, he says. That's
Yeah.
a classic drinker line there. Just keep drinking. You'll get it. When in doubt,
Basil
when in doubt.
Hayden of gin.
The Basil Hayden of gin. Yes.
Maybe it's gin for vodka drinkers.
Yeah. Yeah. Tay, what do you think here on this one?
I mean, I agree. The more you sip it, the more flavor comes through. I'm not a huge fan of what's coming through because I feel like I'm getting all of the alcohol and none of the botanicals really,
Mm-hmm.
with just a slight bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
I think that was actually probably the best way to describe it, the vodka drinkers gin.
Yeah. Maybe this is
gin
a
is
different event.
basically-
This is the vodka drinkers gin.
Yeah. Gin is basically vodka with juniper to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think someone said you couldn't make a cocktail. I'm like, maybe a martini, maybe a gin and tonic, very simple, very clean. Maybe somebody like left a lemon Smartie in the bottom of a bottle.
Yeah.
I think you could do a martini with it if you used a really good vermouth, like something. It would probably overpower it, but otherwise it would just be doing a shot.
Yeah.
And you'd have to go really light on the tonic to do a gin and tonic with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Shooters.
it'll work.
Yeah, it's or maybe one of those things where it's like a Long Island iced tea where you want a bunch of different liquors, but you don't want anything that'll overpower. So this could be fit in that way where it's just just adding some alcohol into something. Mark V, what do you think?
Me?
Mhm. Yeah, you.
Light. Like I said before, it's exceptionally light. I don't know that you could really mix it with anything because it's with anything because it's so. It's good, but it's not a lot. It doesn't really seem to have a lot going on.
Yeah. Yeah. McNew,
Maybe you can
final
make-
thoughts here?
No.
Yeah, I don't think that it's unpleasant by any means. There's just not a lot there. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be good to like take to the lake or the beach or something because like when it's real hot out, I don't like a lot of flavors. I want to drink water, but I also want to be drinking. So I
This
think
is
it's perfect beach gin.
Or bike riders. You're in a bike race.
Yeah.
You want to hydrate. All right. Edith, what about you on this one? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking it was so light that it would be and not disappear when you mixed it like that vodka does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely sort of, it's not unpleasant, but it would, you couldn't really make anything with it.
Yeah.
It's very light. It can just float away or
Mm-hmm.
you could drink a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It could be one that's one of those surprises, you sit there and drink, and you don't think anything about it because it's not overpowering. And then, you don't
Fall
find
off
out
the
till you
porch.
stand up. Yes. Yeah. McNew famously would drink till she fell off her porch back when she had one in her old house. So that's when she knew she had too much larceny to drink. So, yeah.
Happened a couple times.
Yeah. Bear, we'll let you be the last one before we move on to the next one. What are your thoughts on D here?
I could skip it altogether.
Mhm.
And I agree with everybody. It just fades away to nothing. There's not a lot of body there. And I couldn't mix that with anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even leave a good mouthfeel. I mean, there's very little there.
Yeah. Get your Skittles out, right?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. All right. Next up is E.
E for Edith.
Yep.
That one's so florally.
It's florally on the nose for sure. Bold. Christmas tree. Okay.
Yeah, like lemongrass.
Lemongrass.
Mm-hmm.
I get a light hint of lavender
Lavender.
after the grass. Yeah.
And I think there's some citrus in there too.
This one reminds me of Botanist.
Black mist.
It's because it's got everything. It's, you know, it has all of these botanicals, and if you focus, you can go to any one of them.
They're all there. So yeah. That's you're talking about something that I like to do when I go to the symphony. I love the symphony, but it's funny when you're like, okay, you hear all these things together collectively, the music, but then I'm like, I'm going to watch the French horn, the person playing the French horn, and then like I can hear that the acoustics are so good at the theater here in St. Louis that you can hear the person playing the French horn or the person playing the trombone. It's you can just focus on one, and that's kind of what you can do with this, is what you're saying, right, Jason?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's give it a taste.
It's very heavy on the botanicals, very heavy.
Heavy on the botanicals.
Oh, that's like
It's
tastes like a Pier 1.
Like a what?
Like a Pier 1.
A Pier 1.
The rest of the store. It's got the potpourri.
Here's your potpourri.
It's like the store. Okay.
It's like I want to walk over to the gong and go bang it because nobody's going to buy it, but it's sitting there and it just needs to be hit. Tastes like a Papazon chair.
Papazon chair.
Oh, it's actually not.
Nancy W., what do you think on this one? There's a lot of flavors going on here.
Yeah, it's really heavy with botanicals. It's almost overwhelming to me. It's like a potpourri, if you will. You know.
Yeah.
Offensively.
I'm pretty selective in potpourris. So.
Yeah. It's again, I don't know. I think there's a lot of on the flavor side. I get some citrus on there too, almost, and I get some of that. We were talking about chewing gum. There's kind of a sweet chewing gum taste in there too, besides the florals for me.
everything.
Jen, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's very floral. Some herbs too. I just, in my head, I'm thinking, what would you make with this? Because then the opposite, it would be so overwhelming in a lot of things.
Yes.
So you would
the
probably have
opposite
to
of the
say-
last one that we did, right? I mean, this is the other end of the spectrum. You've got the two, ones you might not notice it in a cocktail. This one, you're not going to miss it in a cocktail.
Right. Like you do a classic martini. You wouldn't want to do it in a bee's knees because then that's all you would taste.
Are there any Jägermeister cocktails? Because I mean, it's almost like not quite
I mean, you
Jaeger-
could do whatever you want if you get creative, right?
You could do a redheaded slut. That's a Jaeger cocktail that would probably work in, but I feel like it would also be good in a red snapper, which is basically just a Bloody Mary with gin instead of vodka.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that would go really well.
Actually, just a gin sour.
Yeah.
Gin sour. Okay.
Because it's one thing this doesn't have as much of is the citrus, like some of the others did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Legend, any thoughts on this one?
I think this would be really good with just with some tonic.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a gin old fashioned.
The classic, the old gin and tonic. Yeah.
Yeah, gin and tonic, I think would be great.
What if you did a fizz or like an egg white cocktail to kind of cream it down a little bit and mellow it out?
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds really good. Yeah. All right. Sean, what are your thoughts on this one, man?
Eggs and liquor never mix. Just saying.
Oh, come on, man.
No, all my favorite cocktails are egg and liquor.
Yeah.
A milkshake, a boozy milkshake.
Yeah. The whiskey sour. I mean, come on. It's got to have that egg white in there, man.
Ramos Gin Fizz.
So there's, once again, I'm pretty sure I know which one this is, and it actually will make me ill. That there's something in it that I'm allergic to.
Well, that's not good. That's not good.
It's, I had enough to know what it is, and I won't try it again. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's, once again, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, and me and my buddy in it don't get along. So
Do not get along. It's the eject button. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Justine, what are your thoughts on this one?
I like this one, actually. Not a gin person, but I could get behind this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Whitlatch?
Wow. That's, that's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The strongest of them all.
Yeah.
It's very strong.
Very, very strong, very flavorful for sure. All right. Last one I want to have weigh in on this one will be Casey. Casey, what are your thoughts here on E?
Well, like everyone said, it's very big and there is a lot going on in there. So when you know, every time I taste it, you know, a new note or a new hint pops up, but it sits in your mouth very heavy and, you know, keeps coming back to you. So I think that you would need some creative cocktail magic to really kind of, this is not a sipper, unless you're, I don't know, unless you're made of sterner stuff than me. But you'd have to really come up with a creative way to showcase this flavor profile because it's got so much variety in it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll put that one to rest for just a bit. We'll come back to it and go through these. And when we go through the second time, it's much quicker. We'll just make sure where we're at. And then, like I said, you'll get some free time where you can rank everything, do side by sides, whatever you need to do to come up with your list of 6. So
I feel like I need a bigger palate cleanser for that one.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yes, we'll take an hour break and then we'll come right back, folks.
Very no.
All right, F on F. Well,
Nice.
some classic gin notes, I would say. I could be blindfolded and tell you that's a gin for sure.
Could be all should get the kids up tomorrow.
Strong at first was no it ought to be.
Any nosing notes anyone wants to share with the group on this one to get us rolling?
Smoke again.
Smoke, okay.
Yeah, I get lemon underneath that juniper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Juniper's right up front, but yeah, there's subtleness underneath.
There's a light citrus to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give it a taste, see where we're at. Oh, very different than I thought it would be. Yeah, very different than what the nose would yield. Though there's a sweetness, but there's also kind of a like dill in there too. Does anybody else getting dill in there? Or am I
A
crazy?
little bit, yeah, and with a little bit of pine.
Okay, yeah.
But it keeps it balanced. It doesn't go like as far as
Yeah.
B did. B went all the way Christmas tree.
Right. Yeah. B was what was Christmas tree. Yeah. I was back in the holiday spirit there for a second. So
This is what B wants to be.
yeah. Yeah. That's great. What do you think of this one, Jen?
I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of warm, a little bit of savory, so it's not like heavy sweet. And there's a taste, and it kind of feels like pineapple, but I know it's not.
Oh,
because I haven't heard of a pineapple gin yet, but
yeah.
maybe a little
I'll say
brown
there's no tricks.
sugar.
None of these are flavored or anything like that. So, but yeah, if you're getting, but that's not to say you're not getting that note. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe some caramel or brown sugar aftertaste too. It's cool.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Yeah. Anything else? Paul, haven't heard from you in a bit. What do you want to share on this one?
Not a whole lot. This one hits weird for me. The dill right up front and the earthiness, and it's when I roast. This is going to sound weird because this is the tasting note I've never thrown out, but when I roast carrots in the oven, I put dill and salt and pepper, and the earthy root, like vegetable flavor I get on the finish is not appealing to me at all. But it tastes like roasted carrots to me.
Roasted carrots. Okay.
I can't get it out of my head now that I've thought of it, and this one's not.
Yeah, now you've ruined it for the rest of us. You've brought us down with you, so thank you.
Yeah, I can't untaste it.
Nancy W., what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. It's sort of what I would anticipate with a gin or what I expect from a gin flavor. But here again, I'm a newbie, so this is sort of what I would expect from a good gin in a martini, or or even on the rocks, sipping.
Okay. All right. Just a couple more, and then we'll move on for quickly through them again. Let's talk to Tay. See what Tay thinks.
I think more than the flavor, I'm noticing that it's got like a great hug on it. It's like a lot of warmth that's sitting right here that the rest of them didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's sticking with me more than the flavor of it. I should probably try it again, but that's what's hitting me the most. It's got a great mouthfeel and a nice bit of warmth to it.
Okay. All right.
I agree with Tay. Like, I'm not saying it tastes like cinnamon, but you know, if you eat like a handful of those red hot candies at like Valentine's Day, that's what my mouth and throat feel like right now.
Okay.
It's like not unpleasant, but like, you know, you're not gonna be cold when you go outside. Like, it's gonna stick with you,
It's
but
gonna stick with
in
you,
a nice way. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's a winter time one. Okay. Jason, we'll let you weigh in on this one, and then we're going to start going back through our gins again.
Yeah, I think this one for me is they managed to balance it perfectly with savory and sweet, with classic gin. It's drinkable, but you could use it in a cocktail. This is the Goldilocks gin right here.
Okay. All right, Goldilocks. All right.
Yeah, kind of like sorry to jump in where Paul was talking about the roasted carrots. Like, it's more vegetal than floral, and I even get I get celery salt. I don't know if that's crazy.
No, I don't think it's crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our 6 that we're going to go through. And again, don't forget the bonus one's not included in any of this, so don't open that one up and try it. Just that'll be after we get through all of this. So we're going to jump back to A right now. And again, I'm not an expert here on whiskey. Sometimes when we go back, they've evolved a little bit. They've changed and things like that as air got to. I'm not a gin expert. Should we anticipate changes here, Jen, or are we thinking it's going to be the same as the first time we went through?
Yeah, you might have changes just because your tongue is, I know mine's a little fizzy after drinking all these, like the different flavors on there. So you may have a little bit of a different taste, or maybe your tolerance to the initial juniper heat mellows out, and then you'll get to taste other things.
Okay. So the gin hasn't changed, but we have. And I can see that. I mean, you go through and these are different proofs and all different things, different levels of juniper. I mean, so that's all right. We're going all the way back to A, and just when we think of A, let's try A and see what we think. Old friend starting out.
I go right back to a little watered down or set out too long Sprite, like a aged, a uncarbonated lemon lime type of stuff. Not flat, but has a little perkiness to it, but it has that lemon lime. That citrus.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go not quite with Tim there. Maybe it's with Tim. I don't know. To me, as I taste this a second time, and I've gone through the other ones, and we've gone through the spectrum of a lot of juniper, a little bit of juniper, and to me this is kind of a Fruity Pebbles thing going on here. So you get fruity taste to it and different ones. So it's kind of a mixture of different fruits kind of thrown together. So that's what I'm getting here. Anybody else kind of feeling that way?
Yeah, a little bit.
Would that be fruit stripe gum, Steve?
Oh no, you had to go there.
Yeah, of course. This group always has to put everything in terms of what gum it tastes like. I would have to say, if we have to put it in gum terms, yes, fruit stripe would be it. So
I kept my juicy fruit note to myself.
juicy fruit, yeah. It unfortunately we have to reintroduce some of these old gums to the younger generation. When we start talking fruit stripe, there's a lot of people who've never tried fruit stripe. I mean, people like me, yeah, sure, we grew up on that. We absolutely know what fruit stripe
Was that
is.
the zebra with the tattoos?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah.
It lasts for about 10 seconds and then it has no flavor.
Right.
But it's a pretty nice 10 seconds. I'll say that. It was very cool.
Sugar rush.
Do another one and go through a whole pack.
Yeah. Like Eva said, you end up going through a whole pack. Your mom's yelling at you. Why do you chew so much gum? Well, it only lasts for so long, Mom. So.
I liked it better the first go around, but the second go around, the lemon flavor, the lemon smell, it almost smells artificial.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, it's a lot more passive the second time around, I believe, but we just had, 5 other pours also. But to be a neat drink, I still think that this is fantastic to just be a neat drinker. with nothing in it, no cocktail. I think it makes it would make a great neat pour.
Yeah.
I think
I
good
think,
point, Bear. I mean, my palate is a little muted after all these flavors, so you have to take that in consideration.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You don't want to ding it because our palates are definitely, going through the spectrum that we've just gone through. But yeah, I agree with Bear and Nancy that, as bourbon drinkers, right away we start thinking about drinking it neat because that's how we typically drink our whiskey for the most part. I mean, there's some people that prefer cocktails, but I don't think the people that listen to podcasts and come on these type of events are, cocktail drinkers and that they're coming on because they just want to taste the whiskey and they want to get it almost as close as they can to as it came out of the barrel. I've noticed more and more it's the high proof stuff. They just want it unfiltered, just basically as it came out of the barrel.
Gotta taste it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, once you add too much water or anything, or then, if you're adding anything at home, and again, that's people can drink it however they want, but I just, it feels like the people that listen to our shows are people that are whiskey neat drinkers. So in this, it makes sense that we start thinking, which is the best one neat, because that's how we're used to drinking our distilled spirits.
I keep thinking what's good with martini and what's good with gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the way we should be thinking for sure, because I agree. All right, next up, let's go back to B, revisit that one real quick. This one here was our famous Christmas tree one. Let's see on second go around if it's mellowed a little bit or we've mellowed, we've changed. Let's see what we think second time around.
We wish you a.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Anything? Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. It's still Christmas. Yeah. It's still Christmas in April with B.
Oh, it doesn't taste like gin anymore because all the rest of these things.
Mm-hmm. Tim, any thoughts on this one the second time around?
This is my least favorite, but what I did just get is a deep dish pizza burnt crust note, which actually was quite pleasant at the second. But I'm still not going back to that one.
Yes, yeah, that's on their website. I don't want to tip the cap here, but yes, it's on their way. This tastes like a burnt deep dish crust pizza.
That was the Lou Malnati's butter crust there for a second.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
And then still no.
Okay. And no. Okay. All right. Let's move on to C. C last time was light on the nose, big on taste. I'd say it's still there. I mean, there's still plenty of flavor there.
We just had beef jerky.
Beef jerky. Okay.
Just gumdrops. Yeah.
Gumdrops and beef jerky. That's two definite opposite ends. Tay, what do you think second time through on this one?
I think it's still my favorite. Light on those, but like that full flavor that hits you, and it's not super aggressive. It's just, it's awesome. I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It tastes better than it smells.
Yeah. Mr. Whitlatch?
I agree with Tay. This is definitely my favorite. It's got a nice, round, sweet flavor with a short but pleasant finish. It's a good one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's move on to D, as in dog. Let's see what we think here. Again, there's no nose on this one. Let's see what it tastes. It's almost like, cleansing the palate between ones here. It's, again, it is a very even the mouthfeel is as that gin is in my mouth, it's like you're drinking water. It has a feel of water to it. So it's interesting. Jen, you feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely. Like the other ones are more viscous, like they have like kind of that oily whatever.
Yeah.
This one's real clean and
yeah.
yummy.
Yeah. And I'm not slamming it. It's not bad. I mean, if I was over and hanging out with one of you guys and we're pouring this, I'd drink it. It's nothing wrong with it.
But I feel like it's It's almost embarrassed to be a gin. It's trying to pretend that it's not.
Watch it's like some crazy bougie brand that pops up now.
It's almost like you add it to a liqueur for an after dinner drink or something, you know.
Yeah.
Reduce the alcohol content in it. It's just, you know, there's no per se flavor in it.
Yeah.
But not as sweet as a liqueur.
Right. So you
Yeah.
put it with a liqueur, so that could bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's what's the point between this and just putting vodka in something?
Yeah.
Because if you're not really adding flavor.
So I'm curious. That is a great point somebody brought up. So are all these proofs the same point at 80 proof or around there? Or
No,
70?
they're
all over.
They're all over the place. Yeah,
Okay, well that's why I was curious because that's a great point if they're relatively the same.
The how they got in again was recommended by bourbon drinkers. This is one that I like. And these are people that I respected that are bourbon drinkers. This is one that I drink, and that's how I put them in, because I wanted to pick out the one that the bourbon drinker liked best, regardless of proof, regardless of the botanicals that are in their profiles, anything like that. I wanted to get one that was unilaterally. This one, if we were doing people who don't like gin, this one has to be in the mix there because it's so easy drinking. I mean, it's simple.
Hey, Steve,
100%.
Hey, Steve, in what you just said, when I was in Spain, I had a wonderful gin called Larios.
Uh-huh.
That was my favorite gin, but they don't distribute it to the US. So are these all US gins?
Yes. Yeah. They're all US gins.
Europe has just unbelievable gins.
Yes.
Okay.
I tried to bring back a suitcase full of it, but
Customs wouldn't allow it. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
My wife is British, so we go over there every year or two. And there is, I mean, gin is just everywhere. I mean,
so much. I mean, it's
even to the point
it's
where
tough.
old whiskey drinkers are now gin drinkers. I mean, it's
Right.
just, it's overwhelming the market over there.
I was all worried because I hate scotch, but then I found out that everybody was drinking gin. And I said, woo.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to E. Back to E. If I remember correctly, this was a big, bold, flavorful one. Let's see what we get the second time through.
Potpourri.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get menthol and mint.
Menthol and mint.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Could I use this for cologne, you think?
Cologne. Sure.
Hello.
Super conflicted about this one because it's got so many flavors, but it's so big and crazy and hard to kind of keep hold of. I don't know what I'd do with it.
Right.
Yeah. I get the Jägermeister thing.
Yeah.
It hit me before, but the Jägermeister's hitting me now.
My mouth is just totally confused by it. I think I spend more time trying to figure it out than actually just enjoying it.
Right.
It's like a puzzle in a glass.
Well, I think this is the first one that's definitely, it's not supposed to be taken neat. This is, doing it neat is too much. You need to put it in a cocktail or a mix or something to help focus something.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Or a cough syrup.
Yeah. It's so weird. It ended up D and E next to each other. Again, that's the furthest apart that any of these are, and they're right next to each other. So
Yeah. Was there a logic to how you put
no,
them in order?
I did a random draw because I wanted to make it, where nothing played any impact. So I just randomly drew them out and did it that way. So
You look at the glass, look at how heavy the oils are in this one. I mean, the legs are top to bottom in the glass, and it's crazy. I guess you can't see, but they're really nuts.
Yeah.
Do see it in a Bloody Mary. Thank you very much. I never use vodka in my Bloody Marys. I always do.
Yeah, Bloody Mary.
All right, let's go to our last one. That is F. Let's try F. Second time around. It seems like this one is either love or hate. I don't know. It seems like this one's not anywhere in between of, I kind of like it. It seems like it's a love or hate one for sure. So, But Jen, you're a fan of it, right?
I am. I really like it. I can't wait to find out what it is.
Right.
I want it to drink and as a perfume.
Are you willing to tell us if this is a higher ABV?
No, you don't get any information. It's a blind tasting. Yes, it's everything is just you don't get any information. Justine was trying to get me to tell her the brands before we got here. She was first one. She's like, tell me what's this. I'm like, no, I can't do any of that. It's blind. You don't get to know anything. So, well,
Slice of cucumber in it.
cucumber. Okay, just put some cucumber in there and drink away. All right.
Is anybody smoking anything other than gin here? They're drinking gin, or just wondering.
What's that?
Is anybody smoking anything but tasting gin here?
Smoking?
I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Not as high as you are.
Wow.
I mean, I can. I have.
I just switched back to bourbon. So.
Wow. All right, Nancy. Okay. So here's
smoke it.
Here's where we're at. We've tasted all of them. We've gone through twice. So now it's your opportunity to just take some free time, just a couple of minutes, rank them again, whatever you need to do, side-by-side tastings on your own to establish your list. 1 being your favorite, 6 being your least favorite. Again, don't take in any consideration the bonus one. We're not talking about that yet. That's not included in any of this. So it's 1 through 6. You're ranking A through F. So give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we'll go through and I'll have you share your list.
We're supposed to rank first.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking now. Being quiet. I'm not talking. You're working independently. I'm not talking. I'm perfectly quiet.
Loudly.
Hopefully you didn't drink all that gin. That's a lot of gin to drink and then have to write stuff down. Hopefully you
I drink this more confusing.
no
So
cheating
these
off your
samples don't seem to last as long with their whiskey for me, but the gin ones like aren't even halfway gone.
yeah. That's probably a good thing. It'll keep your head clear as you're doing this.
True.
Michael Dodd, no cheating off your neighbor there. You guys got two in the room there. Do not cheat off each other. Yes.
I can't even see over that far.
Yeah.
100 samples. Oh, man, that's tough.
Were you there at the first year of the New Orleans Bourbon Festival?
Ooh.
Oh, they do that kind of stuff there too. Yeah.
In the first year, they gave us in the 4-year category, they gave us 60 samples we had to hit.
60?
Oh yeah, I remember. I had to pour all those, so I remember. Yes.
I've been in that room pouring those. You guys
Yeah.
have more fun drinking them.
Fun. You should have been there the first year. It wasn't even that well organized. We're literally pouring it as we're going. So it's like, the later years they kind of had it down a little bit, but the first year we're just pouring and going.
Yeah, the organization's got.
Michael was yelling at me, more. I want more. All right.
I did whiskey in the winter before pandemic hit for the first time ever. And it was like Disneyland. I didn't know anything, but I got all the swag and I tried everything until I couldn't taste anymore.
Yeah. Justine came in town for that one. So that's a cool event. And of course, Rick Brenner, the legend, he was there. So yeah.
I ran into you, but he may not remember that.
Yeah.
He may not remember that I ran into him there.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. I went into a liquor store and I had a card in my pocket. I was like, who is this? And Justine was like, you talked to that guy for quite a while. I was like, I don't remember him. Yeah. Oh. All right. Is everyone ready to go? Does anybody need more time to get their list 1 through 6?
I'm almost there.
Almost there. Okay. We'll give you just another minute or so, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, that last whiskey in the winter, I had a coworker that was all psyched to go, and he bought the VIP ticket, and he made it 45 minutes. He didn't even make it to pass the VIP.
So by the time the VIP hour had ended, he was already done. He was
passed out in his room, and he woke up 20 minutes before it was over.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah. One lady fell over the balcony at the last one.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember hearing about that.
That's crazy. Yeah. That event, again, they ended up not having it last year, but they were really going to screw it up. I thought it was perfect as it was. It was like the perfect week. It was just a 1-day thing. They were going to make it, more than 1 day. And I didn't like the direction it was going. So I don't know what the fate of that thing is. If it's coming back now or not, I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. I've not heard. All right. What happens next is I open up a spreadsheet. I can't see you guys at all. So if you're trying to get my attention by waving to me or putting something in the chat, I can't see that. I'm actually in a spreadsheet. I can hear you, so you can talk to me. But I just let you know that as I'm working on the spreadsheet, I cannot see you. So I'm there now.
We can all flip you off and you couldn't see us.
Yeah, right now I can't see you. I should have said I can't see you and then just wait there just to see if anybody flipped me off. But no. All right, Nancy W., you are first. So again, what I'm looking for is starting at number 1, your favorite, and then telling me the letters. So A, C, whatever that order is. And obviously I have to type this in. So if you don't mind, go a little bit slower than you might go, but started at your favorite. What was your favorite?
Oh,
Nancy, you'll have to unmute. Yeah.
Thanks for your help there, Tim, because I can't see her. So yeah.
You need to give us your favorites and then let us know where we can come and party together, because you're my favorite.
Okay, but you're buying the drinks, right, Tim? Okay. My number 1 was C.
C. Okay.
My number 2 is A.
Okay.
My number 3 is E.
Okay.
My number 4, B.
Okay.
5 is D.
Okay.
And E is 6.
F is 6. E was.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure I have it right there. All right. Next up is Paul Rousseau.
All right. So number 1, E.
Okay.
B. A.
All right.
D. C. F.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, that's good. We do that one group. They do all the military stuff, and I was never in the military myself. So they start talking, A, alpha, B. I get confused. I'm just trying to keep up. So yeah, it's good. All right. I don't even know why I told that story. Tay, you're next.
Okay, I'm gonna go with C to start.
Okay.
Then A, D, F, B, and E.
Okay, and E. All right. Wayne.
Okay. My number 1 was F.
Okay.
My number 2 was A. I'm almost embarrassed to admit it because it's not really a gin in my mind.
Okay.
My number 3 was E. 4 was D. 5 was B. And then 6 was C.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. It's a little bit all over the board, which is kind of cool. So a little bit different than we do these whiskey ones. We're all kind of thinking the same because we're all whiskey drinkers, and this is taking us out of our realm. So it's cool. It'll be fun to see what wins. Bear, you're next.
All right. So I'll be the unique one. I started with A.
Okay.
And then I went to C.
Okay.
Then I went to F.
Okay.
Which I kind of jumped all over the map because I'm looking at different flavors because I like both. I don't know if people follow me or not, but I like stuff all over the map. So that's why I kind of went there, because F is definitely much different than A and C. So then I jumped to D, which I've considered neutral. It's about the water in the middle. And then I went to E, And then B, I just don't know if I had a use for it at all.
Okay. All right. Edith, you are next.
All right, well, I was trying to pick up a pattern here and it's all over the place.
Okay.
I was just thinking of ways that I would use gin in martini, gin and tonic, Bloody Mary. So I went with number 1 is F,
Okay.
and then 2 is E, and 3 is C, 4 is B, 5 is A, and 6 is D.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
Who said that that's exactly the same?
Mike Dodd.
Mike Dodd. Okay. Mike, I'm just going to copy that then. I'll skip you when it comes to your turn here. As long as you're the same, I'll
Save some effort. I'm
Okay.
all for it.
All right. All right. Nancy N or Heather Neff. I had you down. You haven't talked, so I don't know if you want to share your list or not. You don't have to. I do see you were signed in.
They don't want to.
You don't want to? Unless you want to.
Are you there? The Neff-
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Okay. So you've got 2. So is this Heather?
No, it's Nancy.
Nancy. Okay. Nancy. Nancy, you're first.
So I like B,
Okay.
then I like C,
Okay.
then E,
Okay.
D, A, and then F.
Okay. And then you had another one with you?
She doesn't want to do it.
Oh, Heather doesn't want to say what she did.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. You don't have to. I'm not going to force you. Tim, you're next.
Mom, I do.
All right, I'm going with A,
Okay.
then D,
Okay.
E,
Okay.
C,
Okay.
F, then B.
B. Okay. Jason.
My number 1's F,
Okay.
then E,
Okay.
then C, then A,
Okay.
then B,
Okay.
and lastly D.
Okay. I just want to see where we stand right now. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, this is really, really cool. All right. Bill Lewis, you're next.
Alpha.
Oh God, here we go. All right.
Bravo Charlie, right?
Foxtrot.
Foxtrot. Okay. I this caused me to extra thinking. Okay, go ahead.
Charlie.
Charlie. Okay.
Charlie,
Delta.
Delta,
Yeah.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Okay.
And Echo.
Echo. Okay. Whew,
That was a sobriety test.
I started perspiring profusely, but I got through it. I did it. All right. Mark V, you're next.
A,
Okay. I like that.
C,
Okay.
D,
Okay.
F, E, and B. And I'm not generally a gin drinker. So.
Okay.
Do you think you could read those back, Steve? Because I had trouble hearing some of them.
I can say it's a
Okay.
C, D, F, E, and B is and Bear and I are pretty close.
So so the second one, am I messing up E and B? Where did E rank for you? E is in Evan.
E is number 5.
Okay.
And C was number 2.
Alpha
Charlie.
Charlie.
Okay, let's start again. I think I got this screwed up. All right. So your favorite was A, right?
Yes.
What was your next favorite?
C.
C. Okay, well, that's definitely different. Okay. Your third favorite?
D is in dog.
Okay.
F.
Fourth?
F.
F.
is in Frank.
Okay.
E is in ear. And B is in boy.
Okay. I got it now. All right. Mr. Whitlatch.
Okay, C, D, A, F, B, E.
Okay. Okay. Where'd it beginning to, it's still, it's a tight race for sure. Casey, you're next.
I had two approaches here. I could have taken the classic, gin, approach to see which was like the best gins, but I went to go for flavors.
Yeah, personal favorites is the way we want you to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I had A, C as in cat,
Okay.
E, F, B as in boy, and D as in dog.
Okay. The legend Rick Brenner.
Okay, I had E, F, C, B, A, and D.
Whoa.
Sean, you're next.
A, C, F, D, B.
I'm sorry, I missed one there. So A was for. So,
We'll put E at the end.
go ahead and start at the beginning for me. I'm sorry.
So Alpha Charlie.
Okay.
Foxtrot. I forget what D is. Dog. And Bravo.
Okay.
And then
Echo.
Edward. Yeah, Echo.
All right, McNew, you're next.
So I was thinking about reading these all as animal names to make them harder for you, but
Please don't.
So number 1 was F,
Okay.
A, D dog, E elephant,
Hold
B
on. I got messed up there. I typed something wrong. So I got your first 3. So what was your fourth one?
D,
D. Okay. And then
E,
okay.
B.
And then B. Sure enough. All right, Justine.
Number 1 is A.
Okay.
2 is C. 3 is F. 4 is D. 5 is E. And 6 is B.
Okay. All right. Did I get everyone other than Jen? I want to make sure I get Jen last because she's our expert here.
And just to be correct here, 6 was our favorite, right?
No. 6 was your least favorite.
I'm just
What's happening? No. I have to start
Did you
over.
get Paul already?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jen. So no one spoke out. Again, I couldn't see you there. So no one was waving, were they? Okay. We got everybody but Jen. Jen, you're the last one. Bring it on home. What's your order?
All right. So I'm so excited other people like this as their first. I have A as my number 1.
Okay.
I have F as number 2.
Okay.
E as number 3.
Okay.
C as number 4. D as in dog for number 5. And B as in boy for number 6.
Okay. All right. All right. Here's where we're at, folks. Coming back, I put my spreadsheet away here. I can see you now. There are no ties. We have clear cut 6 down to 1. That's how I'm going to share them, what they are, and well, we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to start the least favorite. Again, none of these are bad. There was nothing that I tasted tonight that I thought was bad. Did I like ones more than others? Absolutely. So that's where we're at here. We are going to share from 6 being the least favorite of the group on up to number 1 being the most favorite. Okay. And I'm going to share the score as well as what they are. And again, these were all submitted by bourbon fans. So ranking coming in at number 6 was with just 47 points was New Riff. New Riff was number 6. Okay. In 5th place.
What was that?
Oh, which bottle is that?
Yeah.
Well, sorry. Yeah, that would obviously help you. B. That was B. Sorry, that was B.
B as in boy.
B as in boy.
Bravo.
47 points. B as in boy or Bravo, either one. 47 points in 6th place. In 5th place is D as in dog, 51 points, and that is Silverback Distillery out of Afton, Virginia. That is in 5th place. In 4th place with 63 points is E as in Edward, 63 points, still 630 in St. Louis. They're Navy strength gin. Now we got the top three. We got gold, silver, and bronze. We're going to start with our bronze winner of the evening with, let's see, 74 points is F as in Frank, 74 points. That is Leopold Brothers out of Colorado, their Navy strength gin. In second place, our silver medal winner is C. That is Limestone Branch, 78 points. That means our champion with 86 points and kind of ended up being a runaway. Next closest was 78 points with 86 points was A, obviously, and that is Stumpy Spirits in Columbia, Illinois. St. Louis hometown favorite, Stumpy Spirits. So how about that? We brought it home here for the great St. Louis. Of course, they're Metro St. Louis. They're across the river, of course, but that is the closest distillery to my house. I live right across the ridge, and Stumpy's is right there. So congratulations to Adam Stump, his wife Laura, and the team there. They are the Bourbon Drinkers Gin in a completely blind tasting. No one knew anything. And yeah, what do you think of that? Jen, I assume, have you tried Stumpy's before? I see it's still 630. Yeah.
I've been to their tour. Their distillery is adorable. They have cats, which I'm always a fan of. It's just a really cool operation. They do some really interesting flavors outside of gin too. But their classic gin's real good. I definitely could tell that then once you said it.
Yeah. It's one that I felt, again, I'm looking for, bringing it into the whiskey world, because we're looking, this is a bourbon. I right away, that was one that I could drink neat. You come over and that we don't need to mix a cocktail with that one. We can just drink that thing neat. It is very good. I'm sure Adam will be very excited to know that he has won that. And again, we'll play it up, and when this episode drops, which I'll put it out there tonight, and then tomorrow I'll promote this and share our list of who our top three were. I'm not going to go 4, 5, 6. That's for you guys only. You can see it if you watch the video. It's out there. But I never like to say anything bad. Again, nothing's bad. These are all good. I think we can agree they're all good products. It's just, what is the favorite, and it ends up being tonight at least Stumpy Spirits for sure. Cool stuff, right?
Cool.
Yeah. That's
and
fun.
I love you snuck some Navy strengths in there.
Yeah.
That's
they
really
were
cool.
Yeah. And randomly they ended up right by each other they were E and F. So yeah. Go ahead. Legend, were you saying something?
In my notes next to E, I put still 630 Navy.
Okay. Sean, you had said that he was the one that you said you had some history with. You weren't going to try it again. Were you right? Were you guessing it was still 630? Which I thought because you're local too. You're a St. Louis guy. So I thought, well, if he's saying that, he probably has tried still 630. So is that what you thought it was, or was it something else you thought?
It was something else. It was the botanist that
Might even move it to
had made me ill, and I have had the 630, so I was right. I have had this.
Yeah.
But apparently the brain crossed a couple of things in there. There's a few dead brain cells in there. So
John, that one reminded me of the botanist as well. It really did.
Did it? Yeah. You even said that. So yeah, you're right on about that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes.
what is the bonus, Jen?
Yeah, so we do have a bonus. It is not a gin. So what I want to do now, and again, this all becomes, Jason came up to me with this idea and said, if I just sent you the bottle, would you send it out with the gin thing? Because I think it's something that a gin drinker might like. It's not gin. So I want to turn it over to Jason. We're going to try this one together, Jason, but you can walk us through that because you're the one who kind of had everything to do with this. So tell us about it.
Yeah, this is a Michigan spirit I got introduced to last year. And it was really interesting because I do like gin, but I came across this and have been drinking it ever since. And it is a cousin of gin, and it comes from Scandinavia, but this one in particular is made in Detroit, and it's Aquavit. Aquavit. So same way Jen was saying, the dominant characteristic for gin is juniper. It has to contain juniper. For Aquavit, it is either caraway and or dill.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you completely flip the botanicals, And this group in particular, this family, they do a ton of different stuff, and it's just, I found this is just drinkable as all. You can put it in anything you put gin in any cocktail you make, but I will honestly sit on the back porch at like next to the fire and drink it out of the bottle neat. It's just good.
It's rye bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
As soon as I smelled it, I walked back to the shelf and go, oh yeah, I think I know what this is.
yeah. Bear's also from Michigan, so it makes sense he'd have easy access to it.
Yeah, this reminds me of a beef on wax sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right on. Yeah, like you're up in Buffalo. That's where I get. I don't know if that's everywhere. When I'm in Buffalo, though, which I used to go there a little bit, yeah, for work. Beef on weck would be something that was up there. All right, let's try this.
Jason,
It's
can you
just like,
show us the bottle again? Can you show us the bottle?
The Norden Aquavit.
Norden Aquavit.
Norden Aquavit. Thank you.
It does.
Distillery?
Yeah, what's the distillery, Jason?
So it's Norden.
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 Okay.
Okay.
And so they're located in Michigan, just a little family group. They're not in Missouri for distribution wise, but they are in Illinois. And I know I looked on their map. You go to the website, you can look up what stores they're actually in. But they just started partnering with 2 different stores to start doing shipping.
Okay.
So if you go on their website, you can find links to 2 different ones if you like it. Now they also do some interesting special releases. They do like a breast cancer bottle that's rose, hibiscus, and strawberries. And then they just released a barrel-aged, barrel-proof. It's about 107 proof. But they're experimenting with some new stuff, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And the rose hibiscus one is phenomenal.
That sounds so good.
It is so good.
It's a cocktail in a glass. Actually, Steve, I sent an extra little sample bottle.
I tried that. Yes, I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, could y'all send us a link to that site,
Yes.
website? That would be
Yeah, I'll
great.
grab it right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Steve.
shoot that to me, Jason, whatever you got there, especially the ability to order it. And because I will do an email to this entire group because I want to send it. There are many people that signed up that aren't on here, like Jen Brenner. I don't know where Jen's at tonight. But I send out the link to the video. So I'll include that in here too. Okay, there it is. All right.
Jason, didn't they move over to Chelsea? I thought they were in the old Ugly Dog now.
Well,
Where
see
they're
what they're
working with
doing. He's still doing it contract distilling. So
Okay.
he's renting a distillery in one weekend, and I think one weekend a year. And I mean, it's great because I mean, this is a guy who it's a passion project for their family, and so he wanted clementine orange peels, and you can't order clementine orange peels. So instead, he buys like a gross of clementine oranges and then peels them by hand one weekend.
Wow.
Because that's what he wanted for it now. And so, one day maybe they'll be big enough they can hire somebody to do that. But right now it's they're kind of doing contract distilling and it's working really well for them.
Jason, you said something about aquavit dill.
Yep.
I think I might like that one.
Well, see, this one has a combination of dill and caraway. And I've noticed with some people, they'll get the caraway, you're going to get the rye bread. But in other times, depending on what you pair this with, the dill will really come out. So my introduction to it was a Scandinavian crawfish boil. They had here in Michigan. It's a Scandinavian tradition in August. And so I went to this restaurant who was doing a crawfish boil, and they serve the instead of Old Bay like we do here in the States with a lot of stuff, they do it with sour cream and mayo and dill.
Huh.
And when you
Not
try
sure about that.
it's just all dill.
Uh-huh. I like my Old Bay. I'll stick with my Old Bay.
My first
It was actually
experience,
really good.
my first experience with Aquavit was actually over on the other side of the state at Long Road, and they make some fantastic ones also.
Yeah, Steve, I like this better than the gin. our friend Alan Bishop makes a very good aquavit.
He does, yes.
Yeah, the reason I thought about this initially is I know especially with bourbon drinkers, the note they have the most trouble with gin tends to be the juniper. So what if you take that dominance away?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the dill to show through.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's what gin lovers like, right, Jason?
Yeah.
I've been all over the map with gins, though. I mean, there's so many different flavor profiles. Even with the, the juniper, they almost make it disappear. I love heavy lavender ones, and other things along those lines. And there's some of the Japanese have such heavy botanicals. Beyond the juniper, it's phenomenal.
Once you get outside of London dries, like I find that most people that don't like gin had that poor experience early on with it, and it's usually did it wrong and it was a London dry of some sort, and that juniper gets stuck in their heads. But especially with the rise of American dries, like the flavor profiles are all over the place now. So it's like you just have to get brave enough to get out there and try them, because at this point they're just as varied as vodkas. There's one out there for everybody.
On my bucket list. On my bucket list, yes.
There's a tomato gin called Miletos, and it's made in Italy, and it's an Italian gin, and it's made with tomatoes, and it's fantastic. It smells like a garden and dirt and tomatoes, but it reads a little sweeter and not super hot, but still has a ton of flavor, and it's really cool. They do Blanco Negroni with it that I love.
What's that called?
Mileto. And it's out of Italy. They do a Prosecco too. That's really good. I love bubbles. So favorite.
I heard Malort there for a second. I'm so happy that you corrected it. I'm sorry. I went right to there and I'm like, oh, no. So
you
happy
have to be
corrected
way
that,
drunk
Jen.
to handle that. Way drunk.
I think I have had that Prosecco. I did not know that they did a gin.
Yeah, it's super good. It's very vanilla raisins vibes. It's real cool.
I was really happy that Hendrix started doing their experiments too, because I really like the Lunar, even though it's not as standout. And then they have the midnight or midsummer solstice. And
I just got that bottle right now. I'm looking at it. I'm so excited.
The Orbium was fantastic too.
Orbium was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, but I like the new Lunar too.
I like Hendrix.
It's a female head distiller. She's so lovely. Like, it's so cool to like see somebody heading that huge brand and getting to do creative things.
Which ones of these would you put in a martini?
Oh.
How dry do you like your martini?
Right. I do think the Navy strength from Still 630 is so it can go. It's in the middle of the road of our choices here, right? Number 4. It could really be a good martini with it. I make anything with lime, like I do a gingarita, I call it, and it's so good in there. It's really great in the bee's knees.
Which alphabet number is that one?
That was E, number 4 if we were counting down.
Yeah.
Delta. Thank you. I saved some of this so that I could have a drink later.
So I did want to ask one question the entire group. So we went through a bunch of different gins, but what is your normal go-to gin? I just curious on everybody.
Bourbon. I like bourbon.
Okay,
my normal
Steve,
go-to
so
gin.
beyond that, I want to know what everybody, if they were going to order a gin drink, would order. I'm curious.
I like a bee's knees. I only like it in cocktails.
I'm a Hendrix guy. I'll go Hendrix and Tonic.
Ordering and having it at home are two different things. I can afford Tanqueray, and my mother used to drink it, and of course Old Forester. I've got Hendrix and the Dolan Vermouth. The Vermouth we haven't talked about. So, that's really
That could
good.
be a whole nother call is vermouth.
Yes.
Not gonna lie. I've been to a couple seminars about it.
Yeah.
I'd be interested actually.
But when I go out, I don't order gin. I order a really cool bourbon cocktail that I've never heard of.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, Bear, I mean, literally, this was not anything that I focus on. I'm a whiskey guy. So this was a learning experience for me. This is the most gin I've ever drank in one sitting for sure. So
yeah. I'm pretty biased myself. Happens to be that the company I work for makes a gin. So I like to drink that, not to let too much out there. But if I'm not drinking my own, I like Botanist. I like Hendrix. You can probably tell by my hat what gin I like to drink.
Oh, you can put a plug in for your company, KO Distilling. So absolutely.
It wasn't big enough. I couldn't see it. Oh,
yeah.
I think
Nothing wrong with that.
He was on one of the VIP tastings also, wasn't he?
I personally was not, but maybe one of my coworkers was.
Yeah, you guys were just on our flagship whiskey, maybe last time we
Yeah.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
not that long
But
ago.
Golf game, right?
Mhm.
Well, I guess if we're confessing things, I guess I'm more on Jen's side. I'm a gin drinker first, bourbon drinker second. Actually, gin's how I got into the industry. So was really interested to see, because it's always hard for me to talk gin with bourbon drinkers. So this was super cool to witness.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a Navy strength girl for sure.
Okay. We'll see her at all of our bourbon events very soon. I feel like she's going to convert.
We'll convert her.
Yes. Just keep signing up and look at you.
Yeah, I'm converted for sure. Like I'm in the bourbon industry, but I am a gin drinker at heart.
Okay.
I was kind of the same. I do Hendrix generally if I'm drinking martinis, and I do botanist if I'm drinking gin and tonic.
What do you use for martinis? Hendrix?
Hendrix.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a name that keeps coming up. So Edith, if you're looking for one, it sounds like Hendrix is.
I've got it, but I don't use it. I mean, it's more expensive, so it's special.
Okay.
Okay, I do have a cheap rail gin that's fantastic. It's Gordon's. I know everybody like poo-poos it. Gordon's and Greenall's, Greenall, are fantastic, under $20 gins that are so good and clean for mixing and anything. Like it can go martini, it can go your bee's knees. I recommend it all the time to people that are starting out that don't want to invest a lot of money. My gin collection is stupid. I have those, and then I have like my $100 imported from Japan whiskeys or gins.
Gins, yeah.
So yeah. I love Japanese gins too, which is unfortunate because they are expensive, much like I'm assuming Japanese whiskeys are. So it's an expensive hobby to have. But Suntory makes a gin that you can find around town that's actually affordable. It's super citrus, super clean, and I love that one too.
I think it was in a cocktail at Barnett. They used that.
See you, Bill.
What was the name on the limestone branch again? Number 2. What was the name on the limestone branch?
Bowling and Birch.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's a gorgeous bottle, beautiful bottle.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
so
yeah.
There's several distilleries in Kentucky that are starting to make gin. So I don't know who they are, but there are several, like Castle and Key, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Gin, and so I think Kentucky is trying to get with it, but
Yeah.
Copper
Very cool.
There's one.
Well, a lot of whiskey people, distilleries that start up, make gin as a filler while they're waiting for their whiskey to age. I've been finding a lot of that where they're just like, oh, this is our filler in between, and some cool things come out of it while you wait.
Yeah, the DMV area is great for that. Maryland, Virginia, Delaware has a lot of great distilleries that are whiskey focused, but also make really great gins.
I
drink gin in the summertime and whiskey in the wintertime. So
I was going to say I'm in the DMV too, and Catoctin Creek makes an awesome watershed gin, and the Battle Standard from KO is awesome too. I try to drink local as much as I can.
That Battle Standard Navy Strength is my go-to.
There you go.
That's our winner for tonight. That's the Stumpies.
That was very good.
Yeah, that's the winner.
If I drink local or craft, it's I'm partial to still 630 Navy Strength.
Mhm.
And if it's
Same.
if it's others commercial, I like Tanqueray Malacca.
Okay.
Hold on one
So
second.
have you guys had Blue Coat
No.
out of Philadelphia?
No.
They're a pretty fantastic, clean, American style gin. And their logo and labeling is beautiful too, but they're a really good one. And you can find them around town.
Blue Tote.
Blue Coat.
Coat. Okay.
Beautiful bottle.
Yeah.
Thank
They
you.
just changed their bottle shapes and I was really sad, but it's still the same bright blue, thankfully.
And the elderflower one that they came out with is really
Yeah. That one's so good with just club soda. Just elderflower, gin, and club soda. You don't need anything else.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
right.
gotta get, what was that term again for these colored gins? Because I really like colored gins. You know, the colored gins.
So I call it
Barrel
barrel
rested.
rested.
Barrel rested.
It took a nap.
Barrel rested.
Barrel rested. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my favorite barrel rested that I found lately. And once again, it's a distillery only. And it was one that they are doing while they're getting their rye and their bourbons ready. And the lavender and the flavors of it's just unbelievable. So.
Well, and then Two James, their gin is the most citrus of gins I've had.
Yeah.
And then Traverse City's got Verse, which is their barrel rested, which is the creamiest vanilla. He's the distiller, or the distiller's wife ordered him to make something that she would drink.
Would you put that in an old fashioned, like a gin old fashioned?
Oh yeah. I'd put that with that. I'd put their actual, the Traverse City gin in anything, just because it's such an outlier, but the gorgeous creamy vanilla flavors.
Oh, love it.
Very cool. All right. Well, I do want to say thanks to a couple people who really made this event special tonight. So first of all, Jason Sauter. Jason, thank you for giving us a bonus on this. We've never had anything like that happen before. So appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you much.
Yeah. And then of course our gin expert for the evening, Jen, thank you for coming on and being part of this. I think you helped out a lot.
The Gin Club went whiskey fans tonight. I love it. I'm so excited. Now I have to come learn about whiskeys more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Check out our postings. And if you see something you like, let me know. We'd love to have you on learning more about whiskey. So yeah.
I won't just be on your podcast drunk talking about what I think I know about whiskey now on Fridays.
Oh, we all show up.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. Jen's frequently
more knowledgeable.
Right. No, I like that. So yeah, you're going to be in the next one we've got for sure. So yeah, I like that. I do these events at still 6:30, the first Friday. And then actually Justine there, she and I do a review of whatever the offering is, but we put in some of the crowd interviews in there. Those are always fun. But during COVID times, it was like I had the same group because you had to come in small groups and it was always the same people. So normally I would just go put a microphone and talk to someone randomly there, but it was actually, I was, with the same 20 people every time we did one of those. So I just the same interviews, but I always act like I don't know them. So when I walk up, yeah. And then sometimes people who I know mess with me because they're like, well, you don't know me. I'll give you a different name then. So yeah, there's Vanessa.
I mean, for the first time 47 times. So.
Yeah, like you wouldn't remember me, the legend. So all right, with that, I'd like to officially say goodbye. I'm going to stop the recorder, and this is for the group that's just watching it. This is the end of the event. So thanks for being part of it. I will stick around though. If anybody has any questions, anything like that, I will stick around.